What's up? How are you? So today is all about how to set up your macros for fat loss. All right, so how to set up your calories, how to know how many calories you should be eating, what types of foods you should be eating, and how to set up your macronutrients, AKA your protein, carbs, and fats. Get a notepad out, get ready to take some notes. We're gonna dive into some amazing stuff. Let's go. All right, so first things first, I wanna be very clear with you. This is not a video on a specific diet. I don't do or believe in following one strict dietary protocol. I don't believe in following the keto diet exclusively. I don't believe in following carb cycling all the time. There's times and places for all types of dietary approach. You need to know how the body works, how certain nutrients work, how they affect how you feel, how you perform when you're eating certain nutrients. That way you have the tools and the education to create a whole entire program based off of you, because you're a unique person. You're not like me, I'm not like you, you're not like my neighbor, right? We all follow different things. We all feel different ways depending on the types of foods that we're eating. So this video is here to educate you on nutrition, plain and simple. I'll give you some tips in regards to whether you should be following a higher fat diet or a higher carb diet, depending on different factors. But overall, it's gonna come down to you getting the education that you need, implementing it, and seeing how the results look at the end of the day, because results are what's gonna dictate what you follow. And I don't just mean results with how you look, but results with how you sleep, how you feel, how your stress level is, how your mental state is. All those things matter in the grand scheme of things when it comes to picking your nutrition plan. So let's jump into it. All right, the first thing I want you to understand is that calories count. All right, anybody who tells you that calories don't matter or you can follow a nutrition plan that doesn't require you to track calories, hey, good for them, but it's total bullshit. At the end of the day, calories are important. They are energy. They are what dictates whether you lose fat or build more body fat on your body or store more fat, right? So we need to have a general understanding of how many calories we're taking in. If you have no idea how many calories you're taking in right now, it probably makes a lot of sense to at least track your calories for a period of time. This doesn't have to take place forever, right? You don't need to track your calories for the next 20 years. I would suggest though sticking to a 90-day tracking commitment. Understand that there might be times where you don't track, right? Some days you might not track your food, but overall for 90 days, it's a good idea to understand how much food is coming in. If you're not ready to commit to 90 days, commit to 30. Start somewhere, get used to tracking what goes in your mouth, all right? Because if you don't know what's going in, it's like driving without a navigation system somewhere that you've never been before without any kind of map or compass or anything. You're just driving, hoping to God that you get there. You might get lucky. You might have a super, natural sense of direction. Most people though, aren't that good. All right, so let's map out your calories and figure out how many calories you need to take in. There is no exact science for this, okay? It's gonna come down to number one, your goal. So for this, we're talking about fat loss, which means we need to take in less calories than we burn over the course of periods of time. Usually a week to 10 days is a good period of time to start measuring our calories burned versus our calories taken in. But for now, let's just focus on our day-to-day calorie level. If you have no idea where you're starting, right? How many calories you've been taking in, how that's impacting your weight, I highly suggest if you wanna do this right, track what you normally would eat. Don't start eating a perfect diet all of a sudden. Just track how you normally would eat for a week or even just 3 or 4 days. Map out how many calories you're taking in. Now the good news is you can track your calories right here on your phone, all right? Your phone has mobile apps, one of which I recommend called MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal will help you just quickly look up the foods you're eating, map out the calories, and figure out, hey, what exactly am I putting in my body? So download MyFitnessPal. That's a great tool to start using right away. So next up, once we've tracked our calories for a few days, if you wanna skip this, okay? If you totally wanna skip that first step of tracking what you currently eat, take your current body weight, or you could even go a step further and take your goal body weight and times it by 10 or 12, all right? So for example, if I weigh 200 pounds, and I'm trying to lose body fat, I can times my body weight times 10, which is 2,000 calories, and 12 and 2,400 calories, and I can live in that range for an extended period of time, maybe 2 weeks, and I can measure what happens to my weight, to my measurements, to how my clothes fit, how I look in the mirror, and if I'm losing body fat, then I know I'm in a calorie deficit, meaning I'm burning more calories than I take in. So once again, that formula was times your current body weight or your goal body weight if you want to be more aggressive, times 10 to 12. And in that range, you're going to, for the most part, be in a calorie deficit, assuming that you're being active. And what I mean by active is going for a walk every day, working out 3 to 4 times a week, just trying to stand and move around as much as possible. If you're sedentary, that number might actually be lower. So for a lot of people, they start tracking their calories and they think they're eating super low amounts of calories, but a couple things. Number one, they're never hungry and they're not very active, which tells me that they're probably not in a calorie deficit, so they're not going to lose weight. But for most people who are somewhat active, work out somewhat consistently, in that 10 to 12 times your body weight or goal body weight range, you should be in a relatively moderate calorie deficit, meaning you're probably burning a few hundred calories more than what you take in every single day. Let's talk about the types of foods that need to make up your calories. Number one, this is eggs, protein. Protein is important. Now, don't believe the hype that you need tons and tons of protein. You don't. The industry of fitness itself has told you that lots of protein equals better results. Why do they tell you that? Well, because it sells protein powder, plain and simple. You don't need to take in 2 grams of protein per goal of, per pound of body weight. You don't need to take in 3 times your body weight. A good place to start if you just are trying to reach like the maximum amount of protein needed is about 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. That lean body mass is your current weight minus the body fat that you're carrying. So your organs, your muscle tissue, your bones, and all that stuff. So if you're 10% body fat and you're at 200 pounds, take away 20 pounds and you have 180 pounds. So you times that by 1 and you'd have 180 grams of protein. Now, if you don't know your body fat, that's okay. Always err on the side of caution and try to estimate a little bit higher. So you could go online, Google body fat percentages, and images will come up of people with certain percentages. Just match your body type up to that. It's a good place to start. Times your lean body mass times 1. And guess what? That's your protein goal. Protein is super important. It's vital for the body's survival. It's vital for a lot of different things besides just building muscle, healthy skin, healthy hair, healthy nails, all that cool stuff. Get it in, make sure you're getting enough protein. Next up, healthy fats. An avocado. I love avocados, and I love eggs, by the way, for healthy fats. 2 great sources of fat. Avocados are tremendous. They provide a lot of vitamins, a lot of minerals. However, they do contain a lot of fat, so you need to make sure you're being cautious. You don't eat tons of avocados all day long and expect your calories to be in check. So healthy fats are important, but they do contain twice as many calories per gram as carbs and protein. So we want to just be careful. Now, this leads me to the path of who should follow a higher fat approach. Usually someone who is very overweight, maybe 50 to 100 pounds overweight, will do better with a higher fat approach, at least initially, to help stabilize insulin, to help control appetite, help control energy levels. It's just a much easier diet to follow initially when you're starting out, when you have some momentum and you're feeling good about trying something new. Only eating proteins and fats, it's a good place to keep things simple. Once again, carrying a lot of body fat, or if you're just someone who loves fattier foods and you feel better when you eat fattier foods, go for the higher fat approach. But understand, carbs are going to be related to how many fats you're taking in, right? So the higher amounts of fats you take in, the more likely it is that you're gonna have to lower your carb intake. I'm showing bananas is a form of carbs. It's a fruit. Fruit is great for you, so include some fruit in your nutrition plan. Even if you're a super high fat diet, a little bit of berries, a little bit of strawberries, just to give you some rich antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, all that cool stuff. Get it in. Carbs. Someone who is on the leaner side or just average amounts of body fat will typically do relatively well with carbohydrates. This is where it's very individual. We need to test things out and see how you feel when you take in carbohydrates. If you take in carbs and you feel drowsy or lazy or tired right away, usually means we need to at least time our carbs better, okay? This might mean eating more carbs at night when you can afford to be a little bit more tired, and sticking to proteins and some healthy fats during the day, or sticking to higher fiber carbs like fruits, vegetables, things that aren't going to impact your energy level as much. Most people though that I coach include both carbs and fats, because there are times when we need healthier fats, there are times when we need healthier carbs or more amounts of either one, and it's up to me as a coach to direct them to the plan that's going to work for their lifestyle. Plus, who wants to say no to carbs all the time? Who wants to say no to fats all the time? It just doesn't make sense for life. So overall, it's a good idea to have a balance of both. So we covered how many calories you should start with. Now, if you've done the work and you've tracked your calories for 3 or 4 days or even a week, and you figure out what kind of calorie level is going to take To maintain your weight, you would simply subtract a few hundred calories from that number. So if you find that you're taking in roughly 2,500 calories every day and your weight stayed relatively stable throughout the week, you would maybe bump that down to 2,200 or 2,000 calories if you're trying to be more aggressive, and you would stick to that calorie level to see how that impacts your weight. This is now getting into a much more customized approach where we need to dictate things based off you and how your body responds. So if you need more help with that, my email address is in the description below. Just shoot me an email. Say, hey, I watched your video on YouTube. I need some more help with my nutrition. I want to change my life, and I know that I need to get my eating under control. Let me know if I can help you more with that. In the meantime, for more helpful videos, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Just hit the little red button below. That way you get notified every time I release a new one. We're in the midst of a 30-day YouTube challenge right now, so we'll be releasing one every single day for the next 30 days. This is actually day number 2. So hopefully this one will be out relatively soon, so you can check it out. And leave me a comment. Let me know if it was helpful, and I'll be more than happy to help you even further. All right, that's it. Josiah is out. Peace.